Well, I think we'll get rolling again. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We sure appreciate all the wonderful folks here at Mojava Coffee. This is a great place. Everyone give a big hand for Mojava Coffee. Our cooks, our baristas. Paul Marshall, the manager. Did you know that Paul Marshall and his wife just had a brand new baby 2 days ago? So next time you see Paul, say congratulations. Paul's son is now the big brother. He's the big brother, so that's great. This is a community and a family. We all hang together. We have people from all over the place, from Omaha, from Lincoln, parts in between, maybe someplace out around Denton. There's a couple of people here from Denton, I'm pretty sure. That's how that works. I'm glad you're all here. The thing about getting together and writing and hanging out together, you get to see old friends, you get to meet new people, you get to make more connections, and those are all things kind of in the, starting a few neural pathways here and there in your brain is not a bad thing. It's going to replace all the ones that you probably killed by watching bad television last night. So hang in there. There's hope for us all. Third person up to read tonight is my friend Marge Saiser. Marge has been busy for years helping us all out, whether it's a road trip with her good friend Shelley from Omaha, traipsing all over Nebraska, talking to writers, writing their stories, trying to rewrite their stories, rewriting the stories. She finally came out with a big book. That's been just one aspect of what Marge has been doing. Along with that, of course, there's writing, and there's thinking and meditating and hanging out in the desert with Don, trying to avoid being run into by one of his airplanes. That's always exciting. That's challenging. My wife and I spent some great time down there at their place last year. We were out in the Sonoran Desert at the museum there. If you ever get down to the Sonoran Desert Museum out by Tucson, it's a marvelous place. It'll force you to write something. You'll be absolutely compelled. And as far as being compelled, right now Marge is looking at me. I think I'm compelled to just let her come up and do her own thing. So without further ado, with her new book and new material and new words of wisdom, Marge Saiser.
I'll stand for something. All right.
Outstanding.
Oh, yes, thank you, Rex, and Mojava, and each of you here in the chairs tonight. First time I've read from this book. I have nothing to say about fire, and so I wore my red shirt. I'm giving out red hot candy, so stop by. Don has a dish of red hot atomic fireballs. My shirt is by the artist Margaret Berry, so I feel good wearing Margaret's art.
More Lincoln connections.
Yeah.
Connections.
Yeah. Right. That'd be good. Thank you. On the Writers Almanac recently, Garrison Keillor read 2 poems from my new book. So I thought maybe it'd be okay if I did. The last day of kindergarten. Written from a photograph. So imagine a couple of kindergarten students. In the photograph, the boy is ecstatic, set free, a young king, everything ahead of him. There is nothing he can't have if he wants it, and he wants it. As does his friend beside him. They are ready now to ride off together and slay dragons, rescue the world. It's all here in the park after the last bell. It's here in the green summer they have been released to. It's here in their manhood. They've only finished kindergarten, but they understand freedom and friendship. They're on top the picnic table. They're on top the world in their tennis shoes. They have raised their arms. They are such men as could raise continents. They have survived. Look how their fingers reach the sky, and their legs are sure as horses. Their bodies will forever do anything they ask. And I'll read, she gives me the watch off her arm as a tribute to those who mother us. She gives me the watch off her arm. My mother wants me to go to college. The closest she has ever been is this, the dorm. Her father needed her to dig the potatoes and load them into burlap bags. But here she is, leaving her daughter on the campus, in the city. Time to go. We are at the desk. The clerk is wide-eyed when my mother asks her if she will take an out-of-town check if the need arises, if something comes up, so my girl will have money. Even I know this isn't going to happen, this check cashing, a clerk helping me with money. But miracle of miracles, the clerk says nothing, and I say nothing, and my mother feels better. We go to the parking lot. Old glasses, thick graying hair. She is wearing a man's shirt, has to get back to the job. We stand beside her Ford, and it is here she undoes the buckle of the watch and holds it out to me. My father's watch, keeping good time for him, and then for her. She says she knows I will need a watch to get to class. We hug, and she gets in, starts the car, eases into traffic, no wave. The metal of the back of the watch is smooth to my thumb, and it keeps for a moment a warmth from her skin. The overarching theme of the book is that gap between the fact that we know there is much cruelty and violence going on, and yet here we are, we're with our friends enjoying music and friendship and food, and so there's both, and we need to be aware of that. And writers, I think, as Rex referred to, we need to write about both those things. We can't close our eyes to injustice just because we want to. The title poem of the book is I Have Nothing to Say About Fire. And it deals with that dual thing. I have nothing to say about fire except my father could build one. His hands moved logs into place. His hands with scars I would recognize anywhere. I have nothing to say about hands, except his were old and good. I have nothing to say about good. They are right and left hands, good and lucky. I could say guilt, because my sister on some other side of the world, to the left or right of lucky, is biting her lip, tasting blood. She may be lying on a floor thinking of pain. I have nothing to say because I have said it and am lucky, undeserving. I who did not earn, did not choose, did not merit. I have nothing to say, time to say it, people to listen. I have everything. The poet Wisława Szymborska has a quote, "Forgive me, distant wars, for bringing flowers home." In other words, she's saying, I know there is this cruelty in the world, and yet I'm enjoying those moments in my life. Forgive me, distant wars, for bringing flowers home. Small boy, forgive me. Breaking news tells of you, and the big man who scraped your skin, cursed you, stuffed your body into a file drawer, slammed it shut on your cries. I cannot forget your murder, but I do forget. I look up a recipe. I search my cabinets for sugar, for salt. Your mouth jammed against some part of your leg. How could he do that? How could this world let him? Child, stranger, you cried out and went silent. I have watched sunrise happen on the Santa Rita Mountains. I have walked in the shade, a breeze flapping my scarf. I have laughed with friends 1,000 days. And this poem in honor of people who have died in the service of their country. It's "Local Boy Taken." That was the headline in a small town newspaper. Local boy taken. His mother receives a folded flag. Somebody holds a sign that says, "Thank you." Somebody says he was a jokester. Somebody says his favorite trick was to run across the room and fall down as though he hit an imaginary clothesline. He did this trick in a department store in the section where his brother was working. He ran, pretended to hit the clothesline, fell down. His sergeant says he volunteered for duties like cleaning the floor with a toothbrush. Somebody says that's just how he was. Somebody says he was a natural with a wrench and he could dunk a basketball. Once he shattered the backboard. Those assembled at the cemetery stand through a round of rifle shots. He ran across the room. He ran across the room and fell down. If you're in a boat near the area where a whale dives deep, if you look at the surface of the ocean, there's that big circle for just a moment on the top of the water. The print the whales make. You and I on the boat notice the print the whales leave, the huge ring their diving draws for a time on the surface. Is it like that when we lose one another? Don't know, can't. But I want to believe when we can no longer walk across a room for a hug, can no longer step into the arms of the other, there will be this, some trace that stays while the great body remains below out of sight, dark mammoth shadow, flick of flipper, body of delight, diving deep. So I need to check, is it okay for the microphone to start? Okay. It's like Heidi says, you can't tell up here what kind of noise you're making. This poem starts off with the birth of my daughter, and then it goes at the end to goldfish in a pond. You know how they'll come up and they open their mouths for the food that you might throw. And I use the word coy. I like that word for the goldfish, coy. When they laid you on my belly and cut the cord, daughter, and wrapped you and gave you to my arms, I looked into the face I already loved. The cheekbones, the nose, the deep place the eyes opened to. I thought then, this is the one I must teach, must shape and nurture. I was sure I should. How was I to know you would become the one to show me how kindness walks in the world? Some days the daughter is the mother, is the hand that reaches out over the pond, sprinkling nourishment on the water. Some days I am the lucky koi, rising from below, opening the circle of my mouth to take it in. This is Thanksgiving for two. Maybe you've had a holiday where you didn't have the family around you. It's just you and I'm lucky enough it was Don and me. The adults we call our children. Thanksgiving for two. The adults we call our children will not be arriving with their children in tow for Thanksgiving. We must make our feast ourselves. Slice our half ham, indulge, fill our plates, potatoes and green beans carried to our table near the window. We are the feast, plenty of years, arguments, the whole bundle of it rolls out like a white tablecloth. We wanted to be good company for one another. Little did we know that first picnic how this would go. Your hair was heavy, mine long and easy. We climbed a bluff to look over a storybook plain. We chose our spot as high as we could to see the river and the checkerboard fields. What we didn't see was this day, in our pajamas, if we want to. Wrinkled hands, strong, good wine in cheap glasses, toasting whatever's next. The decades of side by side, our great good luck. Well, I've been reading some of the poems from the new book, but I think I will end on the poem that didn't make it. It was like that piece of paper I just dropped. The editor, I like the editor very much, Jim Selar, and he said the book didn't need this poem that I'm going to read to you. So it's not in there, but there's a notebook back there on the table if you want this extra piece, this missing piece is, I'll send it to you. Yeah, you know, doesn't that feel good? This is a graduation that took place in a multi-story building, and so after the graduation, this is my grandson. Take this lighted glass-walled skyway from that 5th floor, or whatever it was, across. There's a busy street underneath, Kellogg Avenue or whatever it was, and then there is a series of stairs down on the other side of that street, and that's where you park and so on. And, so after the graduation, you walk through the Skyway. It's a great view of the traffic and so on, and then you wait down there until the graduate has talked to everybody and comes across and then goes down the stairs to go home. It's addressed to him. After graduation, we waited for you. After your graduation, your family crossed the skywalk, descended all the stairs, and waited. You had gone to turn in your gown and talk to your friends, and we waited. It was a calm night, and we were calm. The lights of an airplane going over, the shadow of a cloud against stars. It had rained. It was pleasant to wait for you. We wanted to give you time, but it grew late, and fewer people crossed the skyway. We watched for your familiar shape in that lighted place above us. Your father went back up the stairs and crossed, going against the current, and found you and said to come. He came back, and we waited again. Then, through the dwindling stream, you came running. We saw you, moving fast in the skyway, your tall form, the beautiful hair we love. You ran your race, dodging stragglers, sprinting for the fun of it. It seemed your hair flowed back, but that was my imagination. That was my joy. Streaming light, your white shirt in the dark colors of the thinning crowd. Your young, long legs, your glowing face, your graduation, your dance down the stairs. Carrying your diploma like an ancient athlete, you came to us, the one we waited for.